But look, let's talk about Victoria, where there's likely to be now some easing of the restrictions. In Queensland tonight, you know, and you can't help but wonder, Colin, we've had this AFL Grand Final awarded to Queensland. They now want to stack the Gabba out with 40,000 people at the AFL Grand Final. Fill her up is the headline. Queenslanders who've got weddings, people who have parties, aged care homes are now being told it's all on. Everybody can do what they like now. You knew this was coming. This whole thing's been programmed just 2 weeks out from an election. The Queensland election's 2 weeks tomorrow. New Zealand is tomorrow. The socialist government there will be returned, no doubt. But Queensland's election's in 2 weeks. Colin, this is all programmed. This is what's coming your way in WA, this kind of cynical programming of largesse. Freedom can be given back because aren't we great?
It's not coming our way in WA, mate. We've had it for the last 6 months. Everything that happens over here through the Socialist Labor Party is programmed. And they've got their elite rich buddies to back them up. Look, the same goes with Palaszczuk in Queensland. They would have done a deal with the AFL about this. And the facts are, I find it very hard when people in elite positions get given special, exemptions. Or even big business people, and people that can't see their dying parents or go to hospital or go to see the birth of their babies or whatever aren't allowed. I mean, it's it's typical of socialist rule in socialist countries. So look, one thing that Bronwyn said before about reform socialists, it's good to have them in our party. We'll take all reform socialists and convert them into right-wing conservatives. But, Mark was a bit tough on Gladys, but then he sits in that house every day. He sees where she's good and where she's bad. And I got a problem with the fact that she may have known too much, and that may bring her down. And that's what I'm not hopeful for her. I agree that she's been a lot better Premier than the other two over in the East. So, that's my stance on it, Gary.
She's better than your Premier too, Colin.
Tell. Yeah, miles better than that bloke over in Western Australia, Emperor McGowan, with people in Western Australia waiting for the largest to drip from his fingers. I mean, Daisy, you must be so excited that wedding guests can now dance in Queensland, the school formals can go forward. This whole thing that's all been announced this afternoon, thank you, Princess Palaszczuk. Anastasia, you're our friend. She's known for weeks this was going to happen, and yet they have still continued to be hard and horrible, heartless and soulless to people who are, private families wanting to get together for births, deaths and marriages right up until this afternoon. Daisy?
Oh gosh, Gary, I am so sick of this left-wing government attitude to freedom that somehow it's a privilege rather than a right. And I am so sick to death of the rhetoric of Queensland Labor talking about easing restrictions like it's a reward. I believe Stephen Miles actually used the word. He said this is a reward for Queenslanders, that we're easing these restrictions here and there. I'm sorry, that is the most condescending, draconian sort of attitude, and yet you see it all the way through their rhetoric. They have this idea that a government should be like a parent. That's why they go on and on about how we need to protect Queenslanders and we're saving lives, and that's why we've shut the border. We're going to protect your health. We're going to protect you from illness. Sorry, that's the job of parents who look after children. That's not what the role of government should be. And certainly the government easing restrictions and giving us basic freedoms is not some sort of reward, for goodness sake. Freedom is the default state. If you take it away, then that's an abomination, except for in certain circumstances. So please spare me all this kind of, lovey-dovey, we're rewarding you, we're giving you, gosh, people can dance at weddings, aren't we wonderful? Come on. Surely the good people of Queensland are smart enough to see through this political charade, and I really hope that we can all vote them out on October 31st, Gary, because I am sick of it.
Well, that's right. We'll see what happens now. Bronwyn Bishop, I would put a shout out to Peter Credlin, who I think has almost single-handedly, with the help of people like Sophie Ellsworth and one or two others actually caused this this judicial inquiry. It's not a royal
Not
commission,
even
it
that.
needs to be
It's
one.
a wanky inquiry.
The
There'll
judicial
be a royal
inquiry,
commission, Gary. There will be one.
There'll have to be one, but there's the fix of Daniel Andrews to put this retired judge in to ask a few questions. It's now got so embarrassing because Peter Credlin has asked better questions that they're now calling it back for another hearing on Tuesday. Meanwhile, people in country Victoria can't get across here and can't do that. They're being treated like second-class lepers in various places where there hasn't been coronavirus for months and months and months. This Daniel Andrews bloke really is a shocker. He's running away from the risk he's created in a lot of people's lives.
Well, thank God for Peter Credlin going in there with forensic interrogation of the man. And now he's trying to turn the story into, oh, but you're not a journalist. Because he can't take, he's great at dishing it out, but he can't take it when someone comes back at him. And we need that sort of interrogation of Daniel Andrews because he's not going to get it anywhere else. As I said, it's a dinky little inquiry he set up, which is just to obfuscate and to hide things. But at least you got a result in exposing that 6-minute break, and bingo, he's head of his department is gone. But who else is he going to throw under the bus? But the thing that makes me so angry about all this is that this is the man who, under his watch, because of his incompetence or something worse, 800 people are dead.
Dead.
I mean, in no other state, certainly not in New South Wales under Gladys's leadership, has this sort of thing happened. This is a man who is leading it, who is just trying to obfuscate at every turn. This nonsense about standing up for an hour every day and saying, oh, I'll answer all your questions. He doesn't answer questions. He ducks and he weaves. And all it is a paid advertisement every day for which he doesn't have to pay. Here, look at me, and look at them all lapping at my feet. So all I can say is thank God for the women journalists from I think, News Limited and also here from Sky. But when Peter went in there and they backed her up, it was a formidable performance. Go for it. More of it needed.